Hello, this is the Happy Ethan. I'm trying to put this video up one more time. I wasn't happy with my previous attempt. After that debacle was I Emanuela and Mr. Repsion's video on assisted suicide. My story kind of covers both. It starts back in the 80s. I was pretty much wiped out, hungover. I couldn't get up to change the TV. Well, I could. I just didn't want to. It's back in the 80s before remote controls were everywhere. I was watching Sunday Morning with Charles Kuralt, and he was talking about a family of hemophiliacs. Hemophilia is when your blood does not clot. Hemophiliacs often have blood transfusions. And this was before the screening protocols were in place for HIV and AIDS. These three brothers, I think the name was the Branch brothers, they contracted AIDS through blood transfusion. Well, the story starts with outside of this church where they talked about the pious and the holiness and how the Christian community is so strong. Oh, fuck, I knew some shit was happening then. Well, when the community found out that these brothers had AIDS, they were the finest examples of bad Christians. Not all Christians are like this, but these motherfuckers were. They kicked the kids out of school, shot up the house, finally firebombed it, and chased them the fuck out of the county. Go Christians! Well, they said it was all God's punishment on gays. The oldest one was 12. Safe to say that a 12-year-old is not necessarily thinking, how can I take it up the ass? Well, I first wanted to go down to Florida and engage these motherfuckers in a rousing game and catch the firebomb. Then I realized that wasn't going to help anything. Then I just thought to myself, well, if I ever could help someone with AIDS, I would. Mind you, I was too self-involved, drunk, and stupid, more than a little lazy, to do anything about that until I moved down to Arkansas in the 90s. I mentioned to my mom, and my mom goes, "Oh, I know someone who we could help right now." My mother was a CNA in hospice, certified nurse assistant in hospice. And before I can say, well, we had an apartment. We had a patient. His name was Angel Batista. Well, I was, it was all nice and well in theory, but in practice, I was like, oh shit, okay, well, fine, I'm here, I'm gonna do it. For the first 2 weeks, he could get around. See, the doctors pretty much said he was too far gone. He wasn't going to last 2 weeks outside of the hospital. I guess you can say he was end stage. For the first 2 weeks, he could get around. Afterwards, he was lucky to get to the bathroom. We set up a potty chair. He was emaciated. He had trouble swallowing. He had trouble even taking his medication. And in broken Spanish, broken English, and barely understood Spanish, as his problems began getting worse, I understood he was asking me to kill him. He asked me to go get a gun, at least let him kill himself. And to Emanuela and to anyone who thinks like her, I hate to tell you, bitch, but death does not care about gender, sexual preference, or anything. It's equal opportunity. He was straight. He had sex with a woman who had AIDS, and he didn't know. This is what drives me crazy about Christianity or any religion that talks against condom use. If you sin, you're supposed to be able to get God's forgiveness if you repent. If you sin in the manner he did, you repent and you still have AIDS. He died for the lack of a condom. If you guys would just have the common decency to say, hey, if you're going to sin, wear a condom, wear some protection. There'd be people alive today. But no. You don't fucking care, do you? You just sit back and say, it's God's plan. Fuck you and God. If that's his plan, I want nothing to do with him. As things went on, like I said, he couldn't swallow his meds, so we had to get a morphine pump. He was so far gone, he was given so much morphine, he thought he was in Mexico. He had to be so doped up, he thought he was in Mexico. We're in fucking Arkansas. And to anyone who's ever argued against assisted suicide, I hope you get that fucked up too. So you know what you've been arguing against. You know the agony that comes with muscle cramps. It starts in the toes, ends in your head. It never goes away. I don't know why I didn't kill him. Why didn't I show him that kindness? I just watched. I listened and I watched. The guy died because he didn't wear a fucking condom. I will never be a Christian. I might still believe there could be a God, but I will never be a Christian. To sit back and watch somebody die so stupidly because of a 2,000-year-old book. It's a fucking horror show to die that way. But for you to say it's only gay men, that is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. And if I go to hell, if there's any justice, you're going to be right beside me. Because speaking out against assisted suicide, ending someone's agony, you're pretty much saying let them be tortured. And all this stupid fucking argument you guys always come up with is, oh, what about depression? No one's fucking arguing about that. There's pills to take for depression. There's no pill for slow fucking agony. I didn't know how to operate a port. When he pulled out his needle from his morphine pump, he was all calm and rational for a while as the morphine wore off. And then it was a sharp intake of breath. And then he was back to the writhing in agony. Till my mom came and helped him. So even when somebody is doped up, doesn't mean they're happy. Doesn't mean there's not some problem. Doesn't mean that the problem can't come back. There's no excuse for letting somebody writhe in agony like that. And fuck you for being removed from the situation and thinking, oh, it's God's plan. Fuck you and God. If that's the case, the hell with both of you. Till next time.